Okay. Hello and welcome, everybody. Yet again, we are here with this beautiful group of soul-wise beings. And my name is Martha Alder Hines. Thank you all so much for joining us. So today, again, I have the honor and the pleasure to be here with Melanie Reinhart, Maura McBratney, Julia Balaz, Don Brunke, Heather Ensworth, and Anne Baring. And if you are new to these soul wisdom circles, what we do is we gather every quarter-ish to drop into sacred space together and to just have I would say heart and soul-led conversation about a particular topic that we feel is relevant for our collective journey all together. Um, and what's really important in all of this is that we really invite you to feel part of this circle together, that we are all co-creating this world together, that we're all equally needed, equally wise, and your soul wisdom is here with us as well. So, and each time we try to rotate who's facilitating the circle, and today's going to be Julia, which is wonderful. And our theme today is really going to be about what is this that we have this strong desire, need, and we are here on the planet to be co-creating this world together. So what does that mean? What does that look like? And we all have different perspectives, and certain things are more alive in that for each of us. So that's what we're going to be dropping into. And welcome, everybody. Julia.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you, ladies, for being here together. Always such an honor. For anyone who's completely new to any of us, I wholeheartedly encourage you to visit any of the websites of these beautiful gems of souls to that created such incredible contribution to with of timeless wisdom. And that timeless wisdom also reflects the previous gatherings that we've done together. I believe today we are meeting for the eighth time. And before I realized it, I wanted to bring in the Power of Eighth book by Lynn McTaggart, just to remind us of how powerful we are when we come together for the same intention. Because the topic of our today's gathering is creating the new world, and just again reminding us and not underestimating the power of us coming together. It really feels like we are called to do that, and it seems to be naturally manifesting already. I'm not sure, we all have different view of the world based on our algorithms, what our algorithm is feeding us. But for example, our wonderful Pam Gregory, who inspired regular weekly meditation on Sunday evenings, and it's growing exponentially. There are thousands upon thousands of people coming on a weekly basis, and that's just one example of many. This group coming together is another beautiful manifestation and just a template for many similar circles of us coming together, just the same way as we used to, or as our ancestors used to, over millennia, coming together, sitting at the fire, connecting through heart and soul, and sharing what was coming through the Great Spirit embodied through us here on earth. I am aware of many different ways of how we can open the sacredness of such circle. And I recall Heather's previous hosting and the beautiful shamanic way of acknowledging the four cardinal directions and the four archangels holding sacred space for us. I loved, I believe it was Melanie's beautiful opening of the sacred circle through acknowledging the six-pointed star inside us, letting both halves of the Merkaba spin and create this beautiful field of light that is sacred, there is sovereign. Previously, I believe it was March when I was facilitating this, I connected with the roots and through the crown, so to the earth and to the cosmos. And today I felt called to bring in the vision of knowing ourselves as infinite pillar of light, grounded in the heart of Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, and in the crown of the galactic core, cosmic center, and feeling the sacred dance between divine feminine and masculine infinitely dancing inside us, through us, as us, and then creating this powerful toroidal field of infinite love. So I would like to invite you to hold that vision and claiming the sacredness of your space and this common space while I play the song by Alexia Challen called The Power Is Here Now. There are particular lyrics that inspired me to bring into today's gathering with the intention of creating the new world and what it means for us. So I would love for you to listen for those lyrics, and I'll share some more after I play the song. Is that okay? And welcome, everyone. Okay.
The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you.
The words that really inspired me to bring this song in were the let the wind blow into your life, such faith and trust. And let the earth hold you, take care of you, and nurture you. Today, before coming together, I felt the earth revealing so strongly her transformation and her growing magnitude of sovereignty that she has, and inviting us to allow the field that she is increasingly emanating to hold us, nurture us, activate the immense faith and trust in the ability of this growing new field to transform what needs to be transformed, to activate what needs to be activated, and to birth miracles. And simultaneously with that, I was also reminded of the beautiful imagery that Veda Austin shared not so long ago on her social media, where when she put a seed on a petri dish and let water communicate what the water sees this seed as, the water knew that what potential the seed holds and carries. And I feel also her invitation for us to release, resolve, dissolve the ideas and beliefs we may have had been conditioned about who we are, what are we holding as a potential, and literally drop into new form of seeds that we are, and allow this new environment that she's creating to let us grow into most magnificent new beings that then create a field that continues to have this ripple effect for future generations. And of course, we want to see the changes in our lifetime, but there is something about the field, the environment is changing, and it is very powerful. And can we have faith and trust in the miracles that we can witness as a result of that? And can we allow ourselves to become these brand new seeds with that original divine design potential that we carried and work with it? It's such a strange time because we are still in the old year with the outer planets being in the previous signs before they drop fully into the new signs. I perhaps invite Heather to maybe speak to that, or Martha or Melanie. But my main message was that. So I invite each of you to share your perspective through your diamond and letting the light shine through your own unique prism. I also want to invite the viewers who are joining us to share in the comments, what do they feel creating new earth, new world means? Is there any keyword that comes to mind, or any other imagery, metaphor that comes through you? You each offer something important to this growing circle of infinite wisdom. So thank you all for listening. And Heather, would you like to start with your perspective? Welcome.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you for sharing that. Very powerful. And as I was listening to you, I was realizing, our theme is, how do we co-create this new world or this new earth together? And part of what you were just saying that I think is so powerful is that we're co-creating it with the earth, with the cosmos. That I believe some of this transition time that we're in collectively now, and this is an extraordinary time on the planet where we do have this opportunity to be birthed in new ways, just as you were describing. And part of the challenge of this time is to let go of these out of balanced patterns we've been in for the last 5,000 years, the period of patriarchy, of power over, of thinking we humans are in control and we are the superior beings. And we've forgotten how to be in right relationship with the sacredness of the life all around us. And for me, this is such a profound time, as this intergalactic being, 3I Atlas, that's billions of years old, has come into our solar system, I think, to seed this consciousness and remembrance of who we truly are and how we can come back into balance and into relationship with the earth and cosmos, with oneness. So as we're in this incredible time of transition, this amazing intergalactic being activated Mars on October 3rd, activated Venus on November 3rd. They're now under the beams of the sun in sacred union together. And this only happens that we're in this configuration, the Earth and Mars and Venus, every 77 months, every 6.5 years. And all of this is happening as these planets have been activated by 3I Atlas, I believe, to call them and us into a remembrance of the true archetypes, the true energies of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, to come back into harmony and into balance and into relationship with the sacredness of all of life. All of this is happening as we're approaching the solstice, as we're approaching this powerful new moon on December 19th. And 3i Atlas will activate the earth and make its closest pass to the earth on December 19th. So we are being called into remembrance to come back into harmony, into balance with the earth and sky. And I think it is about remembering and healing and purging the patterns of the past that have been so out of balance. So as we're in this transition, we're seeing that purging of the shadow aspects of humanity. But we're also gestating and preparing to birth these new ways of being. And to me, it is so exquisite, this story that's unfolding in the cosmos, because Venus and Mars have disappeared from view to be in their own purification process, their own alchemical transmutation through the energies of 3i Atlas, under the energies of the sun. They will emerge early in March, shortly before 3i Atlas makes its final pass to a planet going by Jupiter, March 16th, shortly before the equinox on March 20th. I feel like we as humanity are being called between this time of the solstice and the equinox to be in our own liminal alchemical process of clearing what we need to clear, healing what we need to heal, remembering who we truly are, to come back into harmony and balance with the energies of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine, to come into wholeness. Then we, with the earth and cosmos, can co-create a whole new way of being. And we are being guided and held and supported if we open to those energies and honor our oneness with all that is, our interconnectedness with all that is. And as we're in this liminal time and releasing what we need to release, to be opening to the new forms that I think we can more fully begin to manifest as we come to the time of the March equinox. I love the image that you gave, Julia. That's actually part of my daily practice, is to come to the center of the medicine wheel, connect down to the core of the earth so that I'm allowing my heart to be attuning to the heartbeat of Mother Earth, drawing in that energy, then opening my crown up to the galactic center, the heart of our galaxy, drawing that back down and allowing those energies to meet at my heart and then emanate out from my heart. Because the way in which we can open to these new ways of being is to connect to the earth and sky, come back into connection with our hearts. And from our hearts, we can be emanating that healing energy and love to be co-creating a new earth together.
Thank you. Thank you so much for translating the language of the celestials so clearly and so profoundly for us all at this time. Thank you. I feel equally drawn to each of you. If any of you feel the energy coming through that now it's your time, Dawn, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
I look forward to
just aligns so much with what you were saying, Heather. And also, I just want to circle back to Julia. I forgot how you said the question, but what is the key quality maybe that's coming through? And listening to you, I heard clarity. clarity is such a big thing right now, right? To be totally transparent and clear. And that was coming through both of you, Julia and Heather, and I love that. And so the reason I wanted to go next is because mine is um, more of a personal version, of what you were saying, Heather. And I would like to share three personal experiences that seem to be what we've been going through collectively. So the first is from the past, when my husband died over a year ago. I blown apart. I lost my foundation, right? I lost my sense of self was just shaken up. I didn't know what was going on in relation to this new May, how to relate to this sudden change, right? And it was very scary at first. So much of what I once knew wasn't there anymore. I mean, I was blown apart. And I really found myself in this frenzy, and that was the emotion about this frenzy of I don't know, I don't know what to do, I don't know, I don't, it was that kind of frenetic energy. And over time, that calmed, and I began to walk this path of I don't know in a calmer way. And I unexpectedly found that following that path of not knowing really led to this deeper trust, huh? This deeper trust of self, this deeper trust in the way life was unfolding through me. And because of that, I opened to this larger sense of I don't know, and that became a meditation for me. It became a good thing. Okay, I'm moving in this deeper sense of trust. Um, I began to trust that even though I didn't know where I was going or what was happening, it was designed for me, huh? And I was held in this larger space. And even what seemed, might on the surface seemed not apparent or counterintuitive or scary. It was, it was exactly right. That's a weird little state to be in, but walking in that state deepened me, immersed me in that growing sense of trust, huh? And it made it so much easier. And I mention that because I think, that's where a lot of us are right now. There's just so much confusion, uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to unfold. We don't know what it's going to look like. But one door that does open to us, or one path that does open to us, is trust. Trust. So after some time of walking, this is the second thing. After some time of walking in that sense of I don't know, I was getting more practical with my life, and I experienced another version that helped me in a very practical way. And I called it flowing with the current. So when things were troubling, I'd close my eyes and I'd imagine myself in this wide, mellow river, and I was just floating in it. I was peaceful. Whenever I did that, I'm like, oh, I'm so peaceful now. I'm floating with it. I'm just moving with the flow of life. And there's many other traditions that talk about that, right? Going with the flow, being in the Tao, that kind of thing. So there's lots of ways to think about that. But for me, and it just came up naturally, it just came up as a natural image and feeling for me. I just had to look inside and feel that sense of being in the current. And the more I did that, the easier it became. And the more I remembered that when things were tough, that's where I could be, right? And I realized I didn't have to change anything. It was much more acceptance based, huh? And not an intellectual acceptance, more of an emotional acceptance. This is who I am now. This is what I'm experiencing. This is how my life is unfolding. And the more I did that, the deeper the sense of peace within. And I got to the point where there was even excitement and curiosity. Ooh, what's going to happen next? It became a lightness. And all I had to do is remember that current flowing. So it's a really simple technique. You could call it letting go, riding the waves, immersing oneself in the life that's living through us, right? We're immersing ourselves in the life that's living through this. So I'm mentioning this because this method really helped me a lot. Okay. Third thing. This happened just very recently, just 2 weeks ago. I had a misunderstanding with someone I care about very much. And it began as such a little thing. And it snowballed so quickly into something much larger, and something that neither one of us understood. Like, what is this? And stepping back, I thought, wow, this is an activation of a huge energy. I experienced it as an explosion beneath the surface of our beings. It was as if the ground separating the subconscious from the conscious just blew open. And sometimes I felt, or I could close my eyes and feel like I'm in a desert. And all this stuff has been brought to the surface, right? Old fears, old beliefs, old projections. And I was uncharacteristically very angsty, just really on edge, very confused about what this was or why it was happening. And none of my old ideas kind of worked. All I knew that there was a lot of rubble. There was a lot of rubble. This person's stuff, my stuff, stuff between us. And it was really rough going, probably the roughest going since my husband died. And it was a full 2 weeks. I was so surprised how this seemed to come out of nowhere, right? It just came out of nowhere, but here it was. And I began waking up at 3 in the morning, every morning, with this huge, like, intellectual download of insights and emotions and, and I had to get up and write it down on the laptop, right? For over an hour because there's so much stuff and I just have to get it out of my system. I can't hold it because it's so fraught with an uncomfortable energy. And I wanted to be with that energy, right? So I had become really tired from really tired from waking at 3 in the morning, only having 4 or 5 hours sleep. And then after several days of not sleeping enough and having all this came through, I was truly exhausted. I really was. And I think it was the third or fourth morning after a particularly intense time of that, I woke at 3 again. And I'm like, oh my God, there's no thoughts. There's no noise. I just felt this incredible peace. And that was so wonderful. And I stayed in bed for many hours just soaking that in, that deep peace, that much needed calm and quiet. And at one point, I'm wondering, oh, I wonder what happened to all that rubble, all those little emotions, where are those little compacted bits of fear, right? And I close my eyes and I see like little ghost trails of all of that stuff coming up from my belly into my heart, huh? And it was then I felt my heart open. And the image was my favorite flower, a huge pink peony flower, just opened. It just bloomed in the middle of my chest. And it was so natural and calm. And, it was perfect. And that's when I felt that emanation of love, right? This emanation of love, saturating my body, my emotions, my mind. And it's moving outward and it's filling my bedroom and it's filling my neighborhood and my town and the state of Alaska. And it's moving over the land, over the whole earth, encircling the earth, and it's emanating to distant stars. And I was aware that there were other emanations, right? We were like a path of emanations. Other people, other beings were emanating this. And it was just this huge network of emanation of love.
Mm.
So I don't know that there's anything to explain about that, but I think perhaps that's a vision of what might happen as we move into this new world. If we're willing to accept the mystery, if we're willing to walk through all that confusion and uncertainty, with some awareness, and if we're willing to go the distance with our inner discord, right, and our inner fear and trust. So in walking that path of I don't know and remembering that we're all part of a larger current, in facing and embracing our fears, we come to that place inside ourselves that we bloom naturally and we become who we've been all along, right? We just didn't know it. And now here we are. Thanks for listening.
Beautiful, spectacular. Thank you for reflecting the path of a master alchemist that we are all called to embrace. Beautiful. Thank you. Does anyone feel called to speak next? Perhaps Anne or Melanie? Melanie?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. So slightly picking up some of the themes which others of us have already mentioned, I find my attention recently being drawn yet again to the six-pointed star, which is the feature of the discovery chart of the minor planet Centaur called Chariklo, who in the mythology was the wife of Chiron, who is sometimes referred to as the wounded healer. And so she partners with him. And as I've seen it, provides the deep yin for the yang of Chiron. And indeed, in my fantasy around that, they're kind of learning from each other, like the symbol of the Tao, where each side is usually drawn in black and white, and each swirl has a little dot of the other color. And it's a very dynamic image, it's two moving shapes. So also on the discovery chart, another feature of it is that there are two planets which are each called singletons. Now, in a personal chart, because that's the chart of the event of Chariklo's discovery. So in a personal chart, to have a singleton, so they're not terribly rare, but usually there's only one, and here there's two. But a singleton is a planet on which a huge emphasis is thrown because it's the only one of something. For example, the only planet above the horizon or below the horizon. In the case of Chariklo, the elements of earth and water, the two yin elements, have only got one planet in each of them. In water, we find Chiron in Scorpio, and in earth, we find Neptune in Capricorn. So to me, that's drawing our attention to the deep waters, Chiron in Scorpio, and the sacred earth, that's Neptune in Capricorn. So the whole six-pointed star on Chariklo's chart, it includes more than 6 planets even, and the nodal axis as well. And all of those points, apart from one, are in the 5th degree of each of the signs that they're in. So that's 5 plus. Chariklo is just 4 arc minutes into 6 plus. So to me, there's this whole, ridiculously exact 6-pointed star, all in 5 plus. Then there's Chariklo in Leo, just out of 5 degrees and into 6, like she's leading the way. She's stepping out of the formation or something like that. I'm sure you can allow your own images to arise there. So all of the points of this 6-pointed star, they're all in air and fire. They alternate air, fire, right the way around. Now the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, will soon all be in air and fire signs. So, and they're all connected with aspects like trines and sextiles, so there's nothing obstructing there. So we could think of fire and wind also in their destructive elements. Air has a lot to do with communication. So our whole internet experience and so much input mentally, so much stimulation mentally, and fire, that can be felt as a surge of enthusiasm, or a surge actually of any emotion. So maybe some of you are a little bit like me, where I sometimes get to feel like, stop already, this is enough, or it's too much. And my nervous system is like working overtime, meaning that I need to pay even more attention to regulating my energy at a deep level. It's not a superficial, oh, well, I'll take a break now. It's much deeper than that. And so I think that chart of the discovery of Jariclo, as I read it anyway, it's kind of informing us of where we can go in order to balance out this extraordinary arising of air and fire, and on the earth we've even got a lot of fires and earthquakes and winds and all kinds of things going on. So where we can go is to the deep waters and to the sacred earth. And as a kind of exercise in allowing ourselves to surrender to the kind of regulation of our nervous system that the forces of nature can offer us. You can get very literal about this. Deep waters can mean literally going to sit by deep waters, or even holding an image of deep waters in your mind. It works. You should try it. And then the sacred earth. So you can create the vibes of sacred earth anytime by doing a little bit of thoughtful, low-key ritual to organize your own living space, or the property you live on, and so forth. You might already have special sacred places that you go to in nature, like the woods or a particular tree. All those are in the realm of the sacred earth. But I just wanted to flag those up for you, because I think I'm probably not the only one in the room, as it were, and out there, who's experiencing huge challenge to one's nervous system to ride these magnificent energies, which are flowing through at the moment. And so the moment you get your particular signal, which says, enough, please, you can maybe think of that chart of Chariclo and give her some gratitude, as it were, for the guidance in that chart, and head for the deep waters and or the sacred earth. Oh, and learn your signals that tell you it's enough now. We all react differently in that way. Some of us just get really distracted and lose attention and sort of leave the scene, as it were. Something that happens to me is I start to feel very cold, as if I'm freezing up. And that can be an overwhelm signal for me. So just stay tuned to how all these magnificent energies are landing with you, and be gentle and give yourself time and cherish the deep waters and the sacred earth.
Thank you. So insightful, so helpful. Thank you. As you spoke, I heard let the sacred waters rising baptize you as you are reborn into
Beautiful.
a new.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anne, would you like to come next? Would that be okay? Or Maura, are you getting ready?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anne.
I think that what Melanie has said has been very meaningful to me, because I've felt that exhaustion sometimes, total exhaustion, and I wondered what on earth is going on. I have quite a lot on my plate in my house anyway, but this was quite a different sort of exhaustion. It was just really almost wishing to leave this life, because I can't cope anymore with the I suppose with the tension that's going on in the world, and the feeling of not being able to do much to help. But on the other hand, I've been doing recording. There's a lovely young woman in Canada who's recording my Dream of the Cosmos, and it's finished now, and it will be out on the internet shortly. So that has taken a huge amount of energy on her part and my part, because we both had to read it, correct it, do what we can with it. And she's also doing the new book on the divine feminine, the forgotten feminine face of God. And she has such a beautiful voice, but it's a young voice. She hasn't got the voice of the experience that I have, but I haven't got the strength to do what she's doing. So she has the energy, and I try to give her the balance and the calmness to bring her voice through in the most beautiful way, which is coming. So that is very moving, but at the same time, I suppose, exhausting for both of us, because it means very, very close work, going over what she's done, checking everything. There's pronunciation of words, which are very difficult often, because my books are full of difficult words. So there's that, and then there's been my husband, who's had an ear infection, been really quite ill, and in great pain. So the pain thing has come up in my life, how to deal with my own pain, which is much better now, but how to really relax into it and just say, you have to just let this pain be. It will pass, which it has passed. But I had to find the right person to help me with it, which I did. I was guided to the right person. And he has he's worked 30 years in this country as an anaesthetist, with a woman who's still with him, who's his secretary. And she was an anaesthetist too. So it's just fascinating to see these lives, how rich they are in healing power. I was very moved by the fact of so many people that are coming every day to help them to be healed. And so this was a whole adventure, really, for me. And like Dawn, I've been all over the place. There's too much energy and then too little energy. And anxiety all night long, staying awake from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock, with this anxiety, unable to get out of my mind. It's that horrible feeling of not being able to shut it down in any way. And one just nights like that, and then other nights of total peace and calm, in which I sleep right through without any pills, because I've been taking painkillers quite a lot, but been able to get through the night without any painkillers and feeling refreshed in the morning. So there's been alternating forces. As it one day is fine, the next day is not, and then the third day is a mixture of the two. So I understand so well what Dawn has been through, and also what the wind that is blowing around Heather's house, and the wind that's blowing through the cosmos, the wind of change. And it's activating all our deepest energies, both the earth energies and the sky energies, bringing them together to recreate what we are, really, what we have been, to remember what we have been in the past, in order to lay the foundation of what we are to become in the future. So all this has been going through my mind or my heart, moving from the head to the heart, focusing on the heart, again, as a beautiful flower, like the peony that you mentioned. It's so beautiful image. I image a rose in my heart, and I see a deep crimson rose. And also I've become very conscious of the furniture in the house and the trees and everything around me. I speak to them and I thank them for the beauty of the person who made a chest of drawers or a chair in my room that I've lived with all my life, which I love deeply. And I just thank them for the genius that made these things. And we've collected over our life beautiful furniture, mostly from France. But there's just such a beauty and such a feminine quality in what we've collected. And I just thank them for the person who made them at some stage, maybe 300 years ago, with the love that went into that piece of furniture. And the same with the trees, the planting of the trees and the nourishment of the garden with manure now. That's what putting down for the new earth, the new plants that will be coming up in the spring. Everything is being prepared. Everything is going to rest for the winter, for this month, December and January, before the spring coming up in the February and March. So it's a really magical time. What used to be called Advent in the Christian calendar, in which you are preparing for the birth of the new year. And we are all preparing for the birth of the new culture or the new civilization that we're longing for, because we cannot stand the old anymore. We just cannot stand it. And this is where the anxiety comes. Will we have enough help? Will we be able to do it? Can we bring it into being? And I think that all of us feel this, at least I'm pretty sure that you do feel the same thing as I do. Are we sufficiently in tune to help? And have we the wisdom and the love? And I was reminded of a most marvelous, which I'll tell you, the story of a scientist called Federico Fagin. My mind is just wandering from thing to thing now, which you'll have to allow me to do. But he was a man who invented the microprocessor from which all our cell phones come from. A genius, really. He was Italian, went to America as a young man and became very much involved in the technical side of things. And then he said to himself, I've achieved all this. I've done what I came to do. I've done these great technical things. I've made a great deal of money. I have all the house I need and for happiness. My family's happy, but I'm not happy. What's wrong? And he was staying at Lake Tahoe, and he got up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water, went back to bed, and suddenly felt an explosion in his heart of love. Just what you've described, love, what Dawn described, love bursting from his heart. And he suddenly realized that this was the life of the universe, love was the life of the universe, and that he was part of that love. So there was a double revelation, if you like. And this astounding experience completely changed his life. It changed his attitude to his work, changed his attitude to what he was doing, his career, everything. And it just was a feeling of utter bliss that went on for maybe half an hour, with this flowing love coming through his heart. And he couldn't believe what was happening. As a scientist, he couldn't understand what was happening at all. But then he did understand, and he understood that the universe was speaking to him and showing him what it was, this marvelous, incredible love, and that he was also part of it. He wasn't separate. He was an absolute part. So this, again, contributes to this idea of oneness, our oneness, and that we all carry this incredible love, which could burst from any of our hearts in the same way. And it's just such a beautiful image. So I was reading that about 2 days ago, his description, and it always makes me cry, because it was so powerful for him and also powerful for me reading it. I did have one experience like that about 20 years ago, when I felt this incredible love for everybody around me, including my son-in-law, whom I didn't like at all in reality. But this love was embracing him. Absolutely. There's no way that I could not embrace him. And it was just a wonderful, that same feeling, really, of something bursting out from me, which I didn't realize I had. And it lasted 10 days, and then it disappeared. But during those 10 days, I was in a state of total bliss. As I say, 20 years ago, I long for it to come again. I lie awake in the night wishing it would come again, but it hasn't come again so far. So I leave that with you, that this oneness, this love, this magical feeling of creation that's going on under the surface, the connection with the earth, the cosmos being very happy about what's happening with the planet, because they've waited for this to happen, probably for eons of time. And it's happening now. And the planet is being raised in the whole cosmic order, so that it will no longer be persecuted by the archons, really, one could call them, that have been persecuting it for so many millennia and causing immense human suffering. So that's all I have to say, but thank you very much, and lovely to be here with you.
Thank you so much, Anne. What a gift. What an honor to have you here with us. And yes, I have absolute faith and trust in the miraculous love rising all over the world, with increasing number of people having the experience that you're describing. If only we knew. Maura, it's wonderful to see you here. Welcome to the circle.
Yeah, I'm glad that's all you have to say, Anne. I'm supposed to follow that somehow. And first of all, I'd like to say yes, 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 yes to what everyone said. And I go back to my own personal whatever's going on for me to know what my compass is. And for me, it's still recovery. I am still trying to learn how to walk without pain, and keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And when something goes on this long like this, obviously there's a much bigger process going on underneath besides just the physical. So that's what I've been working with, to find out, to keep going in and in. And I find myself going in longer and deeper and more meditations and trying to regulate my nervous system. Like you said, Non, it's so important. And I realize how much I don't do that in some ways. I go quiet, and then I go, okay, I got to get this done, and then I go quiet. But just staying with it for a long period of time, which is a luxury I know some people don't have, and I appreciate that. But what I'm finding is there's things unwinding in my body, as I'm able to go quiet and communicate with her, communicate with my body, finding out what it is she needs. What does she need? It goes back to the kitten you talked about the last time, Melanie. It was like, oh, what does this kitten need? And I was listening to a podcast actually that Heather had with I think it's Betsy Plotkin about the oh my God. Great, there it went. That's the other thing that's happening. Words just go sometimes. The system,
The fascia.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, the fascia system. And so I started really concentrating on that because as she was talking about, um, it was a communication system within the body. And as I started meditating on that and connecting that, and it's also the crystalline structure within our bodies. And so as I started working with that more and more, I could feel as I was meditating, I would go to the earth and not only bring in nervous system energy regulation and muscular, but also the fascia system regulation. And so the pain would stop for those amounts of time, which is pretty amazing, and last a little bit. But it's an ongoing process that I'm finding. But when I look at a picture also of the fascia system, it's amazing because it looks like the universe in some ways. And it's all through our whole body. It's wrapped around every single piece of whatever's inside of us, vessels and muscles and bones. And so I've come to a deeper awareness of how we are so, the universe is within us. We are a microcosm of the cosmos. And that feels miraculous and wonderful and enlightening in some way, because I can be with myself, but at the same time, I'm expanding and getting connected to that which is larger than I am in my own pain and my own trying to struggle through things. Anyway, so that's ongoing, and the meditations, like I said, have gone deeper and deeper and deeper and longer and longer and longer. So there's this feeling that I need the pulling in, going inside, being with myself, being with what is true for me, allowing that to inform me before I take action. So the deeper feminine before the masculine. And it's so interesting with my body, it's the right and left, right? I'm constantly navigating my right and left side balance because my left leg is having trouble still. My right leg is too, but it's not as bad as my left. So when I get up, it's like I'm constantly, you can't see, I'm constantly taking my feet and going like this, just trying to get balanced so I can have a center when I'm walking, which is just a big metaphor for so many things in general in the universe and where we're going and what's important and what we're working through, what's coming through for us. Like you've talked about, Heather, with Venus and Mars going into their conjunctio, with 3i Atlas. And it's like it's all happening on every single level if we can tap into that and know that we're a part of that, that love is centering in the heart, is all of it, and that expansion. This morning I was in meditation, and I usually do the medicine wheel like Heather and center, and I usually say, okay, I'm a conduit between heaven and earth, and the words came through, is that no, you are heaven and earth. And I think that's the truth. We're heaven and we're earth, and it's all here and it's all with us, and it's centered in the heart. And those beautiful words that you had, Dawn, are, the trust and allowing, quiet, and then the love. I think that's the story. So thank you. That's all I've got right now.
Thank you, Maura. With your story, I do wonder how many, or are there certain individuals that are, through some agreements, as master alchemists or high priestesses, in deeper connection with the earth than others that maybe need to focus on something else, where almost her own pains and transformations is kind of occurring through your own life experience. And every time you speak, and even previous encounters, I always sense as if it's, thank you for carrying what you're carrying. And I invite everyone to join me in praying you, earth, and us all into state of peace and well-being and balance. Almost
Thank
there.
you.
Melanie, you
Thank you
have
so
such a
much,
beautiful
Julia.
Melanie, you have a beautiful song on your signature. Hold on just a little bit longer. Right. Thank you, Maura. Thank you for carrying this for
Thank
so
you.
many. Martha, welcome. Can't wait to hear your share.
Thank you. Yeah, there's so many things I could say because I'm resonating with so much. But the image I've been getting through this whole hearing everybody speaking is well, I loved what you were saying about, that 3i Atlas first made its closest pass to Mars, then it made its closest pass to the Venus, and now is coming to its closest pass to the Earth this Friday, the 19th, December 19th. And of course, we know that Mars and Venus hold the Earth. I mean, in terms of the solar system, right? So basically, our two closest neighbors got their passes first, and now we're in the center of them, literally, and I mean, in terms of their orbits. um, and now Threa Atlas is coming to its closest pass to us. But at the same time, like you were describing, it's the way that things are actually lined up right now is that Earth, with Threa Atlas coming and making its closest pass to us, Sun, Venus, Mars, all basically in a line, which is I knew that intellectually, but I hadn't put it together until you were describing it. I'm going, oh, wow. Right. So, yeah, and so I'm feeling right this just energetically this opportunity right now for us as a solar system even to be getting this wave of divine masculine coming in, divine feminine coming in, meeting in the middle here as us, as Gaia, as Earth, as our own Earth bodies, and then dropping into our heart, into our full being as Earth, and having that be held and really ignited. And one other astrological thing that just I wanted to mention also that I've been really noticing is that then, like you're also mentioning, Heather, when 3i Atlas then starts to exit our solar system and makes its closest pass to Jupiter, during this whole time, in this 3 months, the first, you could say, quarter of 2026, Jupiter is going retrograde in Cancer, heading back to a conjunction with Sirius, right? And so Jupiter is going to go direct at 15 degrees of Cancer on March 10th, just 6 days before the closest passive 3i Atlas with it. So, right, so you could say, like, Sirius is not on the ecliptic, so it's south of the ecliptic, but you could kind of say that 3i Atlas is actually going to be making its closest pass with Jupiter, also in those energies of Sirius, which is fascinating to me. And I would love your thoughts on that sometime, Heather, because I know you have such a strong relationship with Sirius. Yeah. Um, so that Sirian energy feels really important. And also that Cancerian energy feels really key and really important, again, to me, bringing me back to my heart and also bringing me back to this image that came through in a channeling I did with one of my groups a week or two ago, which I would love to describe. And then I have an idea, Julia, if this feels right to the group. I'm going to describe something, and I was feeling like maybe what we could do to close out or begin to close out, maybe I could describe this image and help us drop into something, and then maybe you could replay that song, and we could be in this the thing I'm about to describe while you play the song again, and then you could fully close us out after that. Does that feel okay? Okay. So, yeah, when I think about Jupiter in Cancer, part of what comes up for that in that for me is the role of ourselves, like the home, like Cancer having to do with the home, and the role of ourselves as, if you want to call it homemakers or like host and hostesses. Because what came alive in something I channeled a couple of weeks ago in one of my groups was um the whatever, I forget what spirits I was channeling. Anyway, they had us come to our hearts, and they had us feel our hearts emerge as a jewel or a gem. And I also love, 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 love the image of our hearts as flowers. That's a big thing that comes up for me too. But then what they did is they had the people in this group come around the whole globe, the whole Earth, because this came through about 5 days before I was going to be hosting a free event that Julia was part of also on December 5th, where we were holding space for the whole globe, right? And but what came through in that channeling was really igniting the hearts of each of us to be hostesses or hosts of welcoming everyone back home. And back home meaning kind of to the earth, but really more in a sense of welcoming everybody back home to wholeness and who we really are. Back, really, essentially, welcoming existence back to remembering, period. The who we really are. And so this idea of the host or hostess energy, suddenly I started thinking about how, in general, all these roles of the heart or like functions of ourselves as heart-centered beings, as we know, have been relegated to not desirable or unseen or invisible or, it's very stereotypically, it's the wife hosts the dinner party where the husband is on stage, right? And but she gets kind of forgotten. So so I think we part of what came through when I was channeling that for me was realizing, wow, this role of our heart and all the functions that our heart plays and love ourselves as love play have we have had messages that those roles are not valuable and actually are less than, right? Are secondary. So we know that intellectually, but I think something about re-embodying it and truly claiming that whatever gender we are, that role of ourselves as hostess, as welcomers of love, is crucial and is absolutely key to revolutionizing our world right now. Um, so yeah, so the idea I had was I could just help us drop in, just I'll do like 10, 20 seconds, then you start playing the song. Um, yeah. So we could do this everybody here live, I mean everybody here on this recording, but all of you all of us joining in together, in whatever way feels right, feels good for us. We can drop fully into our bodies, and our bodies are Earth, and our bodies are cosmos, because Earth is cosmos, and we can feel our hearts arising. And we can notice that arising of our hearts might feel like a jewel or a gem, might feel like a flower, it might feel like infinite other possibilities. Whatever comes up is exact divine intelligence. So there's no right or wrong way. Just trust whatever arises. Just feel our heart coming online and showing itself and stepping up. And then we can imagine ourselves holding whatever is arising. So if it's a jewel or a gem or a flower, we can imagine ourselves with that, what I think of as Cheroklo energy, just holding unconditionally loving space for our hearts and for the divine wisdom and power, true power that our hearts literally are, and really deeply honor and infuse and nurture our hearts with love, with honoring, with celebration, with remembrance of the truth of what our hearts really are and who we really are. And then if we're in a moment when where we really feel like actually we're the ones who need to be held, can imagine maybe the flower also enveloping our own bodies, our own selves. And if you feel called to, it's not an either or, we could be doing both. If you feel called to really shine your heart for the world, for each other, we can imagine that as well. And again, just let ourselves be the love that we are for the planet, for existence, and then also feel and know that we are held infinitely in that love. So it's really both and. And yeah, Julia, go for it. Play the song.
The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you. Magic
Thank you all. I would love to read a very short paragraph to close this, as I feel it's so appropriate. And before I do that, I really look forward to reading the comments as we extend this circle to everyone who is listening, who is joining us in this sacred infinite wisdom circle. So please feel free to share what came alive for you and what does it mean to you, co-creating the new world. I'm reading from the book, The Sophia Code by Kyra, and there, page 308 says, "You're one of the innumerable light workers from across the universe incarnating on Earth at this time to birth a spiritual revolution of Sophia Christ consciousness, including the return of the divine feminine Christ, which activates the sovereignty of humanity. The spiritual revolution does not require that you fight against anyone or anything. This is a revolution of your own divinity, commanding miracles to dissolve all obstacles that are in the way. Resourcing your divinity to immaculately birth a new world paradigm is the most revolutionary act that you can commit." There's a lot more there, but I leave you with it. Thank you all so much. It's an absolute honor to be here with you. Much love to you all.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be well. Take care.